Hi, this is Dr. Locke. I'm an ecologist living in Philly, and today I'm going to talk to you about urban heat islands. So, if you've ever lived in a city and you've experienced a phenomenon where you've been outside of the city, and as you're commuting back into the city, you've realized it starts to feel hotter and hotter as you're going into the city center, then you are actually experiencing an urban heat island effect. Urban heat island effect is where cities tend to be significantly hotter than their surrounding environments, such as the more rural counties right outside of a city. And that's because cities have a lot of built environment. We're talking pavements and asphalts and roads and brick buildings, and all of these different surfaces are really good at absorbing heat and then reflecting it back to the people living in that environment. And it can get really hot in Philadelphia. So let's check out exactly how hot it is today at the end of June. So let's look at this pavement right now. If we take a look at this pavement, it's reading at about 116 degrees Fahrenheit, and this is about 4 p.m. Let's take a look at what a black asphalt top might be. This is reading at just over 130 degrees Fahrenheit. That's way too hot for us to be comfortable, and it's way too hot for your pet's paws to be comfortable. All right, so this is a really unshaded, open, hot area of this neighborhood. Let's go check out what maybe a shaded section of the neighborhood might look like. Now let's check out a really shaded block. If we look at the black top asphalt, we're going to see it's about 90.5 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a huge difference from 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Much more comfortable. Let's check out the pavement. If we go to the sidewalk, we're going to see that this is about 88 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about equivalent or the same as the air, which means the sidewalk is now at equilibrium with the air temperature. And that's a much more reasonable temperature. Still hot, but more reasonable. So how do we address the urban heat island? Well, besides tackling the root cause of global climate change, we do need to think about structural ways to help keep our cities cool in these hot, hot summers. So we're going to talk about 3 different solutions to help keep our cities cool. The first solution, trees. When you look at these shaded blocks with lots of trees, not only are they more pleasant to live on, but they're a lot cooler. So luckily here in Philly, we have great programs such as the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society, where you can get free trees added to your block. You can sign up for tree tenders to help plant those trees, and you can request trees for your block, helping you and your neighbors have cooler houses and also lower energy cost. The 2 other solutions that we're going to talk about are going to have reflective surfaces on roofs. If you have a white roof or you have even a reflective surface on your roof, you can actually reflect back some of that energy instead of absorbing it, which keeps the total area, including those buildings with reflective roofs, a lot cooler. The third and certainly last but not least solution that we could talk about are green roofs. Green roofs are where you have plants planted on top of the roof. This can be great, particularly when you have unexpected storms, because it can absorb some of that water that's hitting the roof. But there are also studies to demonstrate that green roofs help keep buildings cool and cool the local area around them. Not only is the urban heat island effect a serious environmental issue and quality of life issue for Philadelphians, it's also an environmental justice issue. And that's because not all neighborhoods experience heat equally. Some neighborhoods have had a lack of resources and a lack of trees added back into those neighborhoods, and they can feel summers up to 12 degrees hotter than other parts of Philly. So I want you to think about that next time you're walking around Philly, about whether or not this neighborhood is being provided the resources necessary to help keep itself cool. So when we think about environmental issues, we also have to think about justice issues.